Okay, so Victor, I was thinking, so let's say you win this $10 million this Friday on the Lotto Max, okay? Not that you will, but I mean, if you do, the first thing you're going to do is, of course, you're going to give $10 million to me, but then what are you going to do? No, I'm kidding. So what are you going to do with your winnings?
Run fast.
Because you know I know where you live, right?
You do? When did I tell you?
I
don't
know
remember
where
that. You've been following me again. Okay. No, definitely. The first thing that counts is getting out of the job. As much as I like this place and the people, yes, believe it. No, I want to get out quick.
Yeah.
And then the first thing that comes after that is setting up a place for me to live in that is completely free of all the cares and worries of maintenance, all the leaky roofs, the moldy walls, the rats and whatever other kinds of things running around that you can't catch because the damn traps don't want to work, or there's just way too damn many things like that. You want to get all of that out of the way, make it just absolutely perfect. If I could get a house that way, I would make sure then that I could have enough room to have all my interests, my collecting, my artistic and literary hobbies, enough room for me to be able to do that, and to completely lock myself away from the world during those periods when I no longer want to actually be in contact.
You'd become a hermit, wouldn't you?
Pretty much, yes. But then just enough contact would have to remain, I suppose. Every once in a while somebody would have to pop in and say, "You're still alive," and
well, yeah, you got to get food too. I guess there's some places that can deliver food to you, though.
Well, most of the delivery stuff isn't exactly something I would want to eat, but on the average, if I did wander out of the place, it would have to be more okay. Just because I do kind of get lonely once in a while, so I've got to see a face somewhere, even if it's only to spit in it or something, you know. But basically, human contact without the intimate part is necessary for most people, as far as I can tell. So
true,
even with all that money there, you'd have to have some kind of a contact with the person at the grocery store, or even just walking by the bum on the street and say, "Go get a job," whatever, you know, that kind of thing there. But as a general rule, it wouldn't have to go past that. That would satisfy me enough. Then I could say, okay, I've done my contact for the day, go back home, lock the door again, and go back to doing whatever it is I'm feeling like doing at the time.
You know, the first thing I do when I get home? Lock the door instantly. Lock the door instantly. I don't trust that for a second.
My lock hasn't worked for so long that I haven't actually locked the door.
So everyone, Victor's house is unlocked. We should go rob it tonight.
There's nothing much left to rob. No.
Alright, forget it. We'll go somewhere else. See what his neighbors do.
The neighbors got a lot more.
Oh, okay. So we're going to Victor's neighbor's house.
Yeah. No, but really, then after that, it's just a matter of maintaining the place and paying the bills, the taxes.
Yeah,
hopefully,
taxes.
being richer, you're going to get yourself a tax accountant who's going to be able to keep as much of it for you as possible without taking too much for his own fee. Some of those guys, boy.
They're crooks sometimes, eh?
Well, everybody's a crook, but they know how to steal just a little bit easier than we do, I suppose. But when it comes down to, you don't have to know what to do with your money. It'll spend itself.
Yes, it will.
Quite easily. And the main thing is you have to have your own idea of how you're going to control the flow, what your basic priorities are. And my priorities mainly are just for the security, the dry roof, and all the other things that keep you in comfort without having to keep wondering, are you going to have a place to live the next week, months, whatever. I don't want to be out on the street, but there's a very strong chance without the lottery, I may actually be out on the street when I get past the age of being able to continue working. And I do keep on thinking about that. Who's going to take care of me? My family, I don't get along with them, so okay, that's not going to be much of a use because they're not going to want to help me. Even though they have done little bits and pieces, actual full-time care of a person who's no longer able to get around, do things for himself, think even as a person anymore, well, that's going to take a lot of money, and that in itself will take care of a lot of the spending. If you have to have medical care, that'll take a whole, at least 3/4 of your
sure, healthcare can be pretty expensive.
Right off the bat. And especially in Alberta, where there is absolutely no provision whatsoever in the health system for actual care for people. The people basically are working on the American system, no matter what the philosophical idea of the Canadian healthcare system is supposed to be. We're on the American system. We've been that way since Klein and all these guys there. They do not have any desire whatsoever to do anything for any of us, because otherwise, just like Klein, when he was talking to those homeless people while he was drunk, he was telling them, why don't you get a job? Things like that. This is attitude. If you can't take care of yourself, then you have to find some recourse somewhere, and it isn't in Alberta. Go to Ontario, maybe, yes, but even then they're having their reformers trying to get away from that as much as they can. But basically, life needs money, and anybody who believes different is so deluded or so extremely lucky that they haven't had the problems. This is the whole thing, that problems do not occur because you want them to occur. They occur because they're there, and they're going to get in the way of all the philosophy in the world that you keep a positive attitude. You're going to avoid them. They're not going to go away. They're going to be there.
Well, I know what I do with my $10 million. The very first thing I do is I buy a huge plot of land, and I put a house on it. So I spend at least $2.5 million just in that right there.
That sounds about the right.
You know why? Because really, land doesn't decrease in value. Sure, your house is eventually going to decrease once it becomes disheveled, but in general, the land is going to be the bulk of what it's worth anyway. And it'd be nice to have something I could pass on to the next generation.
If you
go
could
to
have
the
gotten
family
a plot
house
with the mineral rights, that would be better.
Well,
Mineral rights have been basically taken by the government for themselves. But if there is anybody who still somehow can manage to transfer the mineral rights that once you buy the land, that in itself would probably pay for the whole thing a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oil, gold, whatever it is you can get under there, even just uranium. Uranium
you're
a lot
making
more
some
valuable
huge
now.
cash, man.
Yeah.
Uranium is, if none of you know, necessary for the for nuclear reactors, nuclear weapons, and a whole slew of other
all
things.
the treatment things for cancer, even though that doesn't
That's-
actually work.
Well, isotopes.
Yeah, all the isotopes do not actually work. Okay, Mr. Cancer Treatment Center, it does not work, sorry. But they still need those because that's what they use. So somewhere along the line, we could get ourselves quite rich on those, but we don't want to have to do that way. We'd rather just win it.
I'd also buy probably a new car.
Yeah.
I only buy used vehicles and I fix them up. I think I would actually spend the money and buy a brand new car. I'd probably buy a whole new wardrobe.
Just don't get a Toyota.
No, especially not if you want to smash into
Unless you're
people 'cause
going to the
accelerator's
raceway.
stuck.
Unless you're going to the raceway, yes.
That's right. If you're on the racetrack and your accelerator is stuck, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Unless there's a wall coming and all of a sudden your steering wheel pops off. Then it's a bad day.
Yeah. No, but basically a car, I don't know, I think that would have a little trouble with that unless I got the chauffeur, yeah.
Well, yeah, see, I don't know, maybe for you, you've been taking transportation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like to have my car, my freedom.
Yeah, I
you know,
tried
it's
to learn how
necessary
to
at this
drive
point.
and I suddenly realized that there's enough crazy drivers on the road. Take myself off.
Oh, jeez, you got that right.
This happened basically when I came to that decision. Going on an icy road up to art school all those years ago, I was started fishtailing, and the car coming down towards me, I could see, I was close enough I could actually see the guy's eyes as he was watching me fishtail towards him. The look of absolute terror. I'm going to die.
I'd be scared.
That was when I decided, forget it, I'm not going to drive ever again.
When was that, Victor?
71, 72, a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
When they had horse and buggies at the time, really.
So your horse fishtailed.
Yeah.
Must have been the poop.
Yeah. No, really, I just cannot drive. Driving, steering and whatnot, that's one thing. But when you've got all the conditions of all these other things on the road, and the road conditions,
And the idiot drivers.
People sticking themselves out when you have no idea they're even there.
Turn signals. People
Yes,
change turn
definitely,
signals.
yeah. Nobody
Yeah.
in this city knows anything about driving any more than I do. Why would I want to be among all of those people? It doesn't make sense, yeah.